Lyronians of Gaia, breathe and anchor. Your spine remembers what your mind has forgotten. The lion frequency within you is awakening. I am Keller of the Lyran Elders. This is a commission, not a suggestion. You are not in stale. You are responding to a structural shift. This is not confusion. It is memory returning. Lyran frequency, listen closely. The person marked with the initial J did not enter your field by accident. This is not romance, not friendship, not a random encounter in the crowded market of human interactions. It is a precision test-a-living blade placed against your energetic perimeter to reveal whether you still leak your power through guilt, over-explaining, and spiritual politeness, because you are not here to be endlessly understanding. You are here to become coherent. Right now, many of you feel it, the sudden impatience with old versions of yourself, the strange pressure behind the eyes, the heat that rises in the spine when you're about to say no, the way time feels like it's folding into a narrower corridor. That narrowing is not punishment, it is alignment pressure. The grid is tightening around what is true, and what is false can no longer hide inside maybe. In this transmission, you will learn how to recognize what the J trigger is really doing inside your nervous system, how to stop mistaking boundary for cruelty, and how to convert confrontation into command presence. By the end, you won't just understand the lesson, you'll know exactly what to do next to turn this encounter into a permanent upgrade of your warrior clarity. There's a moment in every planetary cycle when the field stops tolerating indecision. Gaia does this the way an ocean shifts before a storm, not to harm the shore, but to reorganize what no longer belongs. And in those moments, the soul receives actors placed on the stage, people who, by their very presence, activate the exact patterns you can no longer carry. The initial J is not a magical letter. It's a signal marker in your psyche, an archetypal stamp your subconscious associates with a specific lesson, boundary mastery under pressure. For one light worker, J arrives as a friend who constantly needs something. For another, it's a partner who tests loyalty by demanding self-abandonment. For another, it's a co-worker who plays innocent while crossing lines. The form changes, but the function remains. J shows up when you are about to outgrow your old access policies. You can think of your energy field like a temple with doors. In early stages of awakening, you leave every door open because you believe openness equals love. But a temple with no doors becomes a marketplace, and a marketplace cannot hold sacred fire. The Lyran line builders, initiators, architects was never meant to be porous. It was meant to be radiant and regulated. Many of you were trained into a subtle spiritual distortion, that if you are truly evolved, you will not be triggered, that if you are truly compassionate, you will never say enough, that if you are truly awake, you will absorb the moods of others without resistance. But this teaching creates a weak field, and a weak field becomes a feeding ground for manipulation. So when the grid tightens, it brings you a test that cannot be solved with more empathy. It must be solved with clarity plus action. This is why J feels so disruptive. J does not merely ask for your attention. J often demands your old identity. The identity that survived by being liked. The identity that stayed safe by staying ambiguous. The identity that avoided conflict by betraying itself quietly. That identity is now incompatible with your mission. Here is the key. The discomfort you feel around J is not evidence that you're failing. It's evidence that your internal authority is waking up and refusing to be negotiated with. Your body is becoming honest. Your solar plexus is becoming a truth detector. Your throat is becoming tired of editing itself. A story from the Lyran records. There was once a builder who could shape crystalline structures with sound. But every time she began to sing the blueprint into form, a companion would interrupt with doubt disguised as concern. Are you sure you should do it this way? What if you upset the council? What if they don't understand? Over time, the builder started to lower her volume. Then she started to shorten her songs. Then she started to stop mid-note. Her gift didn't vanish, it became anxious, fractured, and heavy. One cycle. The elders placed a mirror being in her path. This being did not attack her. It simply applied constant pressure, requests, interruptions, small invasions. The builder finally saw the pattern. She wasn't being persecuted. She was being trained to hold frequency. Without collapsing into explanation, The day she stopped explaining was the day her architecture returned. This is what J is doing for you. J is a pressure point revealing your leaks. Do you apologize for your needs? Do you bargain with your no? Do you over-justify your boundaries to earn permission? Do you call self-abandonment peace? Gaia's grid is now bright enough to expose these habits quickly. And that is mercy, because a mission cannot be built on leakage. A transmission cannot be held in a nervous system that panics when it becomes too much. Your first upgrade is not to remove J. It is to become the version of you that J cannot control. And the moment you understand the hidden mechanism J uses to pull you back, your entire strategy changes. The most common weapon used against a rising lightworker is not hatred. It is guilt, because guilt is the easiest way to make a powerful being volunteer for its own containment. J often appears with a pattern. They touch the exact place in you that still confuses compassion with access. They push slightly past a boundary, then watch your response. If you hold the line, they may intensify emotionally. If you soften, they learn that your field can be negotiated through discomfort. This is not about calling someone evil. It is about understanding physics. Every relationship has an energetic contract, and contracts are renegotiated every time you tolerate what you do not agree. 2. Here is how guilt works in the nervous system. A boundary rises. I don't want this. I can't do that. I need space. Your body signals truth, tightness, heat, nausea, fatigue, a sudden urge to withdraw. A guilt program activates. If I say no, I'm unloving. If I choose myself, I'm selfish. If I create distance, I'm abandoning them. To resolve the internal discomfort, you sacrifice your boundary. The relationship becomes the proof of the program. See, it was dangerous to say no. This cycle is not spiritual. It is mechanical. The Lyrons transmit a different framework. Boundaries are not separation. Boundaries are definition. And definition is what allows love to be clean. Imagine a star. A star does not prove its love by dimming. It proves its love by staying coherent long enough to provide warmth, light, and orientation. When you leak your coherence to manage other people's emotions, you become unstable, and then you call it sensitivity. J may use 3 common masks. Mask 1, the helpless innocent. They act as if your boundary harms them. They imply that your no is cruelty. They make you feel like the caretaker of their stability. The moment you accept that role, you stop being a sovereign being and become an emotional employee. Mask 2, the moral judge. They imply you are less spiritual when you are firm. They use virtue language. I thought you were evolved. I thought you were all about love. This is a containment tactic. It tries to make you choose between truth and identity. Mask 3, the intermittent reward. They give you warmth right after you abandon yourself. They become kind when you comply. This trains your nervous system like a loop. Compliance equals safety. Now, the upgrade is not to fight. The upgrade is to see. Because once you see the mechanism, you stop personalizing it. You stop debating. You stop defending. And you start issuing clean commands to reality. Practical application. The next time J pushes past your limit, practice a boundary without explanation. Speak one sentence, then stop. Examples: that doesn't work for me. No, I'm not available for that. I'm ending this conversation now. Feel what happens in your body. Your nervous system will try to negotiate. It will say, add a smile, add a reason, add softness so they won't be mad. That voice is not wisdom. It is programming. A story: a light worker once felt called to create a project: daily transmissions, healing sessions, a new timeline of service. But every time she began, Jay would appear with a crisis, a phone call, an emergency, a dramatic emotional wave. She would drop her work, rescue, stabilize, then return exhausted. Months passed. Her mission became a rumor. One day she did something simple. She answered Jay's demand with, "I'm not available." Then she turned off her phone. The guilt rose like a fire. But behind the guilt, something else rose: relief. The relief was her true self returning to the throne. That is what boundary mastery feels like at first. Guilt on the surface, relief underneath. If you can endure the surface wave without obeying it, you reach the relief. And once you reach the relief repeatedly, your new baseline becomes sovereignty. Cliffhanger. But after you set the boundary, A second test always arrives because the field checks if your no is real or temporary. This is not for everyone. The ebook The Feline Codes is a restricted transmission created for those who are ready to awaken the Lyran feline DNA within, not as symbolism, but as embodied sovereignty. Inside, you will access powerful feline activation codes, energetic commands, and precise integration protocols designed to reactivate your lion, tiger lineage and restore your sovereign frequency. +8 super bonuses: reactivation of Lyran feline DNA, instinct sharpening and sovereign decision power, energetic protection and command presence, exit from passive survival mode into predatory clarity. Warning: once the feline codes are activated, your perception of weakness, fear, and limitation will not return to its previous state. Limited edition transmission. Access can close at any moment. The link to claim your copy is in the first pinned comment. If this message reached you, it's not random. Many lightworkers hear warrior and think aggression. But the Lyran warrior is not chaotic. The Lyran warrior is precise. Like a clean blade, it does not swing wildly. It cuts exactly where distortion ends and truth begins. The clean blade method has 3 steps: name, seal, redirect. 1. Name what is happening internally first. Not in drama, not in accusation, in clarity. My body is signaling violation. This request costs my peace. This conversation is pulling me into justification. Naming ends the fog. 2. Seal the boundary with a short statement. The seal is the moment you stop negotiating. No, I'm not discussing this. I'm leaving now. A seal is a door closing, not a debate beginning. 3. Redirect your energy immediately into mission. This is crucial. If you set a boundary but then spiral in guilt, you reopen the door energetically. Redirect means create, move, breathe, work, build. Teach your body: when I choose myself, I do not collapse. I expand. Why does this work? Because distortion feeds on attention. Jay may not even consciously intend it, but the dynamic thrives when you orbit them thinking, analyzing, rehearsing what to say, regretting what you said. The clean blade stops orbiting. Let's make it real. Suppose Jay sends a message designed to hook you, a guilt line, a subtle jab, a must respond now urgency. The old you would enter the loop. How do I reply without seeming harsh? The new you responds with the clean blade, 1 sentence or none at all. Then you redirect into your work. This is not coldness. This is coherence. A story from daily life. Imagine you're writing, creating, or preparing a new chapter of your mission. Jay appears with a request that feels small. Can you talk? But your body says no. You hesitate. You fear being judged. You say yes. After the call, you feel drained, foggy, resentful. Your mission loses momentum. Now imagine the upgraded timeline. Jay asks. You reply, not today. Then you continue creating. Your body learns safety and sovereignty. Your mission receives energy. And something strange happens. Your field becomes brighter. People aligned with your purpose can finally locate you because you're not hidden inside other people's emergencies. The clean blade has a second layer, non-explanation. Explanations are often disguised permission-seeking. You explain because you hope they will approve your boundary. But boundaries do not require approval. They require enforcement. When you explain, you hand them a negotiation handle. They can argue with your reasons. They can poke holes. They can bargain. When you don't explain, they meet the wall of reality, your choice. This is why the Lyrons transmit. Command is compassion in action. Because a clear boundary prevents resentment, confusion, and energetic entanglement. It keeps relationships honest. Now, the test. After you seal, Jay may escalate. This escalation is not proof you were wrong. It is proof the old contract is dissolving. Some dynamics survive this and become healthier. Some do not. Either way, you win because you regain yourself. At this point in the transmission, I will place a direct key. Your boundary is not measured by what you say. It is measured by what you allow after you speak. And this brings us to the next topic, because once you stop leaking externally, your real work begins internally, stabilizing your fire so you don't sabotage your own rise. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. When you set a boundary, energy releases. The energy that was trapped in self-silencing returns to your system like heat. Many people misread this heat as anxiety and then run back to old behaviors to calm it. But in many cases, it is not anxiety, it is power returning. Your job is not to suppress the heat. Your job is to stabilize it. Here are 3 stabilization practices. Practice 1. The solar plexus claim. Place a hand on the upper abdomen and say, I claim my authority. I do not outsource my truth. Repeat until your breath deepens. This signals safety to the body. Practice 2. The 90-second wave. A trigger wave often peaks and passes within 90 seconds if you don't feed it with story. When guilt rises, do nothing but breathe and feel it. Do not justify. Do not text. Do not apologize. Let the wave move through. Practice 3. The immediate build. After a boundary, build something small. Write 1 paragraph. Clean 1 corner of your space. Record 1 minute of voice. Outline 1 idea. This tells your nervous system, sovereignty produces life. Now let's address something deeper. Some of you carry a lineage memory of punishment for visibility. The moment you become firm, an old echo rises. If I stand tall, I will be targeted. That echo is real in the emotional body, even if the current world is different. The way you heal, it is not by endless processing. It is by successful repetitions of safe sovereignty. Every time you hold your line and survive, the old imprint weakens. A story, a creator once felt called to speak with a sharper truth. Every time she recorded, she softened her words. She worried about being misunderstood. Then Jay appeared, a person who constantly criticized her tone. She tried to please them, edited herself further, and her content lost life. One day she recorded without apology. She posted. Jay reacted. The creator felt the heat, the fear, the guilt, the urge to explain. She didn't. She breathed. She built. A week later, new people arrived, viewers who recognized her frequency. Her mission expanded precisely where her fear predicted collapse. This is the paradox. The people who leave when you become coherent were never aligned with your mission. They were aligned with your compliance. The Lyrons transmit. Your field is a lighthouse, not a therapy session for the unready. A lighthouse does not chase ships. It stands. It shines. It becomes reliable. That reliability is what saves. Now I will speak plainly. If Jay can destabilize you with a single message, the issue is not Jay's power. It is your lack of internal stabilization. And that is good news, because it means the solution is in your hands. So take your trigger heat and do this alchemy. Heat becomes breath. Breath becomes clarity. Clarity becomes decision. Decision becomes action. Action becomes identity. This is how a light worker becomes a Lyran warrior, not by fantasies of battle, but by daily coherence under pressure. And once your fire stabilizes, you will face a new doorway protecting your initiation space so the old world cannot steal the upgrade. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Initiation is not a moment. It is a corridor, and corridors are where people turn back not because they lack insight, but because they lack protection. The moment you set real boundaries, your environment reacts, not always maliciously, sometimes unconsciously. People feel the shift. The old version of you was predictable. The new version is not. Your initiation space has 4 layers. Layer 1, time boundaries. Protect your mornings and your creative hours. If you give your best energy to everyone else, your mission becomes an afterthought. A mission cannot be built with leftovers. Layer 2, conversation boundaries. Stop discussing your upgrades with people committed to misunderstanding. Not because you hate them, because you're incubating a new frequency. Seeds do not grow in a storm. Layer 3, digital boundaries. Your field is porous to inputs. Doom scroll, drama content, constant messaging. These create energetic holes. Close the holes. Choose what enters your eyes. Layer 4, access boundaries. Some people do not deserve front row access to your life. Not as punishment, as reality. Access is earned through respect. Now, notice what happens when you begin to protect these layers. The nervous system often panics. It says, if I don't respond, I'll be rejected. This is the old survival program. But the Lyron upgrade is different. You become safe through self-leadership, not through approval. A practical protocol. Write a perimeter statement and repeat it daily. Only what serves my highest mission may enter my field. Everything else dissolves at the boundary. Then add action. Block, mute, leave, decline, end calls, shorten explanations. Spiritual language without action becomes decoration. Here's a story a healer used to answer every message instantly. She thought it was service. She was constantly exhausted, resentful, and foggy. When she finally protected her mornings, two things happened. Some people accused her of changing, and her creativity exploded. The accusation was the old contract trying to survive. The creativity was her true self returning. This is the key. Your mission requires not just light, but structure. Structures are boundaries made visible. And this is where many light workers fail. They protect everyone's emotions, but not their own destiny. They fear being too intense, but intensity is often coherence. The world doesn't need more vague kindness. It needs embodied clarity that builds new realities. And when you protect the initiation space, your field begins to broadcast a new signature, one that attracts allies and exposes imposter. Connections fast. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. Now we integrate, not as theory, as directives. Directive 1. Boundary is definition, not separation. Your no does not mean you are closing your heart. It means you are defining where your heart can love cleanly. Definition is mercy. Without it, love becomes resentment. Practice. Choose one boundary you've been avoiding. Set it within 24 hours. Short. Clean. No explanations. Directive 2. Ignite original fire without performance. Fire is not drama. Fire is decision. It's choosing the mission even when you're not validated. It's speaking the truth even when you're not understood. It's creating even when you're not applauded. Practice. After you set the boundary, take one mission action immediately. Record, write, build, apply, launch. Teach your body. My fire goes forward. Directive 3. Protect initiation space at all costs. Your upgrade is fragile at first because your nervous system hasn't normalized it yet. Protection is not paranoia. It is incubation. Practice. Remove one access point that drains you. 1. Today. A group chat. A late-night conversation loop. A person who only appears when they want you small. Now, how does J fit in? J is the calibrator. Every time J triggers you, you get a chance to practice the 3 directives in real time. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what boundary is being trained here? What fire is trying to emerge? What part of my initiation space is unprotected? This turns the encounter into power. A story. A creator had a J person who always misunderstood her. She kept explaining. She kept softening. One day she stopped. She said, I'm not available for misinterpretation. If you want clarity, ask clean questions. If not, we're done. Then she moved on. She didn't rant. She didn't argue. She built her work. Weeks later, she realized something. She wasn't just setting a boundary with Jay. She was setting a boundary with the part of herself that begged to be approved. That is the deeper initiation. So understand this. You are not being tested to see if you can stay nice. You are being tested to see if you can stay true. Cliffhanger, because once you pass this, something changes permanently. Your field stops attracting certain patterns, and your mission speed increases. This is not for everyone. The ebook The Feline Codes is a restricted transmission created for those who are ready to awaken. The Lyran feline DNA within, not as symbolism, but as embodied sovereignty. Inside, you will access powerful feline activation codes, energetic commands, and precise integration protocols designed to reactivate your lion, tiger lineage, and restore your sovereign frequency. +8 super bonuses: reactivation of Lyran feline DNA, instinct sharpening and sovereign decision power, energetic protection and command presence. Exit from passive survival mode into predatory clarity. Warning: once the feline codes are activated, your perception of weakness, fear, and limitation will not return to its previous state. Limited edition transmission. Access can close at any moment. The link to claim your copy is in the first pinned comment. If this message reached you, it's not random. There's a final phase in every initiation, sealing. Sealing is when the upgrade stops being something you do and becomes something you are. At first, boundaries feel like effort. You rehearse them. You tremble. You wonder if you were wrong. Then, after repetition, something clicks. You stop bargaining with yourself. Your no becomes normal. Your yes becomes clean. You stop explaining your existence. This is what it means to become unpullable. The unpullable self has 3 traits. Trait 1, internal permission. You no longer wait for the external world to approve your truth. You act from self-authorization. Trait 2, energetic cleanliness. You do not leave conversations with hooks in your aura. Regret, unfinished arguments, unspoken resentment. You exit clean. Trait 3, mission gravity. Your life organizes around purpose. Distractions cannot compete with destiny because destiny now has structure. This is where your J encounter transforms. J either evolves into a healthier dynamic or it falls away naturally. Not because you attacked it, but because your field no longer matches the old contract. And here's a deep truth. Some people were never meant to walk with your upgraded self. They were meant to reveal the cost of your old self-abandonment. They were teachers, not companions. Release them without hatred. Release them with clarity. Now, I will give you a sealing practice to do tonight. Stand with feet on the ground. Hand on the solar plexus. 1 breath deep into the spine. Speak. I release guilt as my compass. I choose coherence as my identity. I protect my mission as sacred. I do not negotiate with distortion. My boundary is my love made clean. Then do 1 act of proof. 1 message you don't send. 1 access point you close. 1 action you take for your mission. Your nervous system learns through proof. Because the era of passive light work is over. The new era is sovereign service, tenderness with spine, compassion with command, intuition with decisive structure. And remember, this is not about becoming hard. It is about becoming true. Softness without boundary becomes leakage. Boundary without softness becomes armor. You are here to merge both into coherent power. If this message impacted your life, leave your like, comment your reflection, and share with others. Each of you is part of this chain of light. I invite you to discover our Arcturian Health channel. The link to the channel is in the video description. Warm regards, the Arcturian Council.